Good evening and welcome to Crossroads. When it comes to the recent charges against Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, I want to say right now, I agree with the Democrats on this one. I stand by Hunter, at least on these particular charges. I generally support the Second Amendment and low taxes. Now look, I'm not sure about the other things he's being accused of. I don't believe in selling off access to American politicians to foreign countries. I don't think it's right to smoke crack while driving. I'm pretty sure it's cool driving 172 miles per hour on a Las Vegas freeway and somehow still managing to use one hand to take a photo of the speedometer, but I just don't think it's a very good idea. But look, on these recent charges, again, I stand with Hunter. And it's good also to see the Democrats change their position so drastically in order to defend Hunter Biden. They're aligning, interestingly, with the populists, even the libertarians. They're standing by even fairly extreme views on gun rights, the belief that even drug addicts or people who lie in order to obtain a firearm should still be able to own a gun. And on taxes, they're sticking by a borderline minarchist stance that taxation may in fact be theft, and that facing this alleged theft, some may even have a moral imperative to just plain old not pay their taxes. Many would argue that gun laws and income tax shouldn't exist anyway, and it's interesting to see the Democratic Party suddenly change its views so strongly to come out in Hunter Biden's defense. Now look, I'm half joking, but you have to appreciate the humor of what's unfolding right now. Hunter Biden, the son of President Biden, was already facing charges for tax violations and for illegally owning a firearm. The tax charge looks like it's off the table, at least for now. But just yesterday, he was hit with 3 charges on firearms violations in Delaware. He's accused of falsely filling out a form to get a gun, lying about a claim that he wasn't on narcotics, and knowingly possessing a revolver despite the laws that against drug addicts owning firearms. Now look, if convicted, he faces up to 25 years in prison. We'll see if that ever happens. But look, he's innocent till proven guilty. What I've found highly entertaining is how the establishment is defending these charges. The establishment media, the same one that tells you all these things about banning guns, they are slanting their coverage in Hunter Biden's defense. Politico has his lawyers accusing House Republicans of improper interference, that the charges that he had a gun illegally may be politically motivated. ABC, they're saying the gun charges may be unconstitutional. I agree with them for once. And look, check out ABC defending Second Amendment rights for drug users. Others have framed this type of weaponization of the justice system as just being just that. It's the narrative that Hunter would have never been charged if conservatives had not demanded it. And, in all honesty, they're right in some regards. Many conservatives typically believe that gun laws have gone too far. Many people were surprised a few years ago, for example, to learn that with the decriminalization of marijuana, people who use marijuana may have lost their rights to own a firearm. And notably, that's because of the same law Hunter Biden's being charged with. Now look, again, I am a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I really don't believe this should disqualify someone from having their constitutional rights. As for taxes, I'd argue most conservatives believe in some level of taxation, but generally there is a sentiment that current tax rates are a little out of control, let's say. Personally, I believe income tax itself is unconstitutional. It's fairly new, and it's not how this country was intended to work. Now, the want for Hunter to face charges on these is actually something different. It's more out of a belief that there is a two-tiered justice system. And this is a real problem, in my opinion. It's the perception that people are charged or not charged with crimes based on politics. And many people were wondering, myself included, why Hunter Biden was not facing charges for his alleged crimes, while it seems the justice system is having no mercy on the other side against Joe Biden's political opponents. Now, Among the reasons people care so much is that the hypocrisy in our political system is becoming just a little too noticeable to keep ignoring. With this case in particular, President Biden was one of the leading, tough on crime politicians. Look, do you remember this?
So I hope this crime bill, when it passes, the Biden-Hatch crime bill, as it becomes law, God willing, I hope that we will have ended once and for all this notion that is a hangover from the 60s, that somehow Democrats are weak on crime and Democratic presidents are weak on crime and Republicans are tough on crime. The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill.
That was Joe Biden's speech in 1994 or 1993, pushing for the 1994 crime bill, which introduced the 3 strikes laws, including for drugs, where anyone who had 3 felonies would be thrown in prison for 25 years to life. Mandatory minimum sentences. That was Biden. And now his own son is photographing himself doing these same drugs, apparently without consequence. The Democrat Party is building out their IRS to go shake down Americans for more tax dollars. The big narratives are everyone has to pay their fair share. Nobody is above the law. But here on the gun crimes as well, look, the Democrats are pushing for gun restrictions, red flag laws, even outright bans. If you or I were to violate these laws, I doubt we'd be offered any kind of a sweetheart deal. So why the double standard? Of course, there's also the real elephant in the room, let's say. The gun charges, even the tax violations, they are a drop in the bucket compared to the real things Hunter's accused of. People want to know if President Biden was involved in quid pro quo when he pushed to have the Ukrainian prosecutor fired while his son, Hunter, was working for the Ukrainian energy company Burisma that he was allegedly investigating. They want to know about potential backroom deals with China and many other countries, and whether U.S. policy was up for sale. They want to see the bank records especially. Well, that's it for YouTube for the rest of the episode. Come join us on Epoch TV. We have a big sale right now, 25 cents a week. Come escape censorship, breathe the fresh air of freedom with some great content there. Original shows, movies, documentaries, and of course the rest of this episode. We have some really important stuff coming up. We'll be talking about how the CIA was bribing researchers into not saying that COVID-19 came from a lab in China. We'll also be talking about how, well, because of the Federal Reserve and their, let's say, funny money projects, we're paying about $700 million every single day in interest rates. And this money is being siphoned out from the pockets of the American people. Some really important stuff you're not hearing about, I think, in most places. And again, for that, come join us on Epoch TV. I'll see you there.
People from 160 countries illegally cross the U.S.-Mexico border and give themselves up to Border Patrol. But what about the ones who evade Border Patrol? These are known as the gotaways.
You can safely assume that anybody that went through the extra effort to avoid U.S. Border Patrol was not an asylum seeker by default.
It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but somewhere down the road, if somebody rapes and kills somebody, and we find out that they came through here on my watch, that's unacceptable.
These men had surrounded my house. They were banging on my back door. They were banging on my front door.
You can't understand it unless you're out here seeing it every day. 21 dead bodies on the property.
Code 3 response.
Is it wrong to ask people to come to your front door of your home? Then why would it be wrong to ask people to come to the front door of our nation?
Their primary goal is to circumvent the checkpoints, go undetected.
People that do not want to surrender, those are going to be the potential terrorists, the criminals, the real threat to the U.S.
We were hoping the federal government would step in and do something, but they didn't.
We have no clue who they are or where they're going. That's the scary part.